Hey, I am going to be reading the August 20 entry from Hope for Today, Courage to Change, and One Day at a Time in Al-Anon. These are conference-approved, Al-Anon-approved literature. The page is 233 on all three books. So if you have a book or two or all three of them, feel free to read along with me. If not, it's fine to also listen. I made this just for you. Alright, I am going to read from Hope for Today, August 20. Steps 1, 2, and 3 open doors to profound and meaningful changes. The effect of being raised in an alcoholic family seemed as fixed in me as my eye color. Two traits come to mind: turning to emotionally unavailable people for support, and engaging in self-doubt and self-hate. With the help of my sponsor, I now see that these and other traits, not other people, are the source of my anguish. That insight, however, was only the beginning. The real freedom came when I finally admitted I couldn't get better on my own, which lifted my denial. My powerlessness filled my lungs, brushed my skin, beat in tandem with my heart. I stood at the edge of acceptance, took a step, and free fell into step 1. I realized that if only I could remember I was truly powerless over these effects, and not try to pretend otherwise, I would be fine. Why? Because of step 2. A power greater than myself can help me. What that power is and how it can help me doesn't matter. It is only important that I can place my restless hope in this power. In step 3, I then surrender my thoughts, feelings, actions, dreams, needs, my whole life to the care of this power. I bought myself a special ring to wear, and I touch it sometimes, hourly, to remind myself that I am not alone, and that these 3 steps are my stepping stones to surrender, sanity, and even serenity. I've used them in quick sequence many times since. My life has changed for the better and continues to improve. I feel more like me than I have in 20 years. Thought for the day. This is the prayer of powerlessness, to ask only for guidance. Quote, the more I feel my smallness and powerlessness, the more I grow in spirituality. That quote is from Having Had a Spiritual Awakening, page 159. I like this reading about step 1, 2, and 3. This reading is amazing. I also bought a special ring to wear, which is funny because I can relate to this reading in that way too. It talks about how step 1, 2, and 3 are great stepping stones to surrender, sanity, and even eventual serenity. I can relate to how it says, I feel more like me than I have in all those years. So it says that insight, however, is only the beginning. The real freedom comes when I admit I couldn't get better on my own, which lifted the denial. Wow, this reading is super deep. Okay, I'll move on to Courage to Change. Courage to Change, August 20, page 233. A billboard in my town reads, some come to the fountain of knowledge to drink, some come to gargle. My pre-Al-Anon self would have chuckled at this message, but I would have felt some anxiety about whether I was a drinker or a gargler. Life was either black or white, and in order to feel comfortable, I had to know which extreme applied. But whichever label I pinned on myself would leave me feeling wrong, so I would scramble to fix myself. Now, thanks to Al-Anon, I accept more easily the thought that sometimes I drink, sometimes I gargle, and sometimes I stub my toe on the fountain as I stumble by. I don't have to do better or differently. The best that I can do is good enough. I can relax and enjoy the joke. Today's reminder. Al-Anon encourages me to examine my thoughts and actions, but this is meant as an act of love, of self-love, not as a weapon to use against myself. When I begin to accept myself exactly as I am, life will feel a lot more gentle. Quote, sometimes we try so hard that we fail to see that the light we are seeking is within us. That quote is from As We Understood. Wow. I like how it says here, Al-Anon encouraged me to examine my thoughts and actions, but this is meant as an act of self-love. Self-love. It's not as a weapon to use against myself. So basically, this really helps with my 4th-step inventory. Doing step 4, sometimes it sounds like being used against myself when I run through all my character defects. And this is just a good reminder, it's an act of self-love, not as a weapon against the self. So yeah, and it takes courage to apply that much self-love, to be that honest with the self. Moving on to One Day at a Time in Al-Anon. August 20, page 233. A member whose husband died, a member whose husband had recently joined AA was recounting her current experiences. He doesn't go to enough meetings to keep him sober. I noticed that the level of the scotch was a little below the mark I had made on the bottle. He doesn't want me to go to AA meetings with him, but I go anyway. I have to see how this AA works. Another member answers, you're treating him like a baby in a playpen, watching him perform, deciding what he ought to be doing. Who put you in charge of your husband? Why do you think you know what's right for him? Accept the fact that he's trying, and let him find his sobriety in his own way. Today's reminder. It's sometimes a shock to have our thinking errors pointed out to us. But I must always remember that in Al-Anon, the motive is loving and helpful. If I'm on the wrong track, I want to know it so I can correct my faulty attitude. Others can often see our problems more clearly than we can, and from that, we get our best help. Quote, teach me to think straight and not take offense at a criticism which is meant as loving guidance. Alright, those are the readings for August 20th. I hope you all found some insight on that. Keep going to meetings and remember the slogans. Easy does it, one day at a time. Progress, not perfection. Keep it simple, silly. Well, keep it simple, silly is more common, but it really does help a lot. So, remember that you are worth it. You are loved, no matter how you feel. And there's always spirit, experience, strength, and hope out there. Don't hesitate. I recommend getting a sponsor, going to as many meetings as you can, and keep listening to other people's experience, strength, and hope, because you never know what that might teach you about yourself, not only others. And remember, you are only really responsible for your own actions and reactions and your attitudes. No matter what circumstances you are in, no matter what you believe, and be gentle on yourself. Listening to this, if you're still listening by now, I really appreciate it. Please hit subscribe, and yeah, God bless, and be happy. If not, just, yeah. Alright, take care.